Hello, welcome to a new video. A big thank you to all of returning viewers and to all of you who have just clicked on. My name is Marian Guevara and today I'm going to be doing a Criterion Collection update slash Barnes & Noble 50% off haul. So this November has been the latest Criterion, 50% off sale at Barnes & Noble. And the thing is, I've been kind of abstaining from the past sales for various reasons. But today I decided to pick up a few titles because I was interested in getting some. This is a collective haul, so not all of these I got on this sale. One or actually two of them I got separately from past hauls, past Criterion sales, and I didn't make a video because it was just the one title. So yeah, I have 5 films to show to you today. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first film I have here is Spine number 950. This is the famous Billy Wilder comedy that is Some Like It Hot, which came out in 1959, starring Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, and Marilyn Monroe. I've already seen this film and I adore it. I'm so happy that Billy Wilder's films are slowly being added into the collection some more. I would love to see more titles from him. But yeah, Some Like It Hot is a famous comedy where we have these 2 musicians played by Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon who witness a mob hit, and they basically have to go on the lam. And in order to do so, they dress up as women and join an all-girls band that is heading down to Florida, and the singer of said band is Marilyn Monroe. While in Florida, they get into some crazy wild mishaps, and it's just a bunch of laughs. This came out in 1959 and this still holds up. This is just a great 2 hours of just solid laughs. And this trio, I adore this trio. The chemistry between all 3 of them is just fantastic. I feel that if you were to exchange any one of these characters out for another, or I'm sorry, not characters, but actors out for any other, the film wouldn't really have worked. I adore all of them, and I know that Marilyn is, a star, but my favorite one from this film is Jack Lemmon. He just steals every scene that he's in. If you haven't watched Some Like It Hot, I do recommend that you do so. The next film is Spy number 226, and that is Onibaba from Kaneto Shindo. This came out in 1964, so this is part of the Japanese New Wave, and you might notice that it's a Blu-ray. Now, typically with me, if you've seen my past, Criterion videos, I don't collect Blu-rays. I mainly go for DVDs. However, the re-release of Onibaba was only in Blu-ray, so I decided to pick it up in Blu-ray. There are actually 2 other Blu-rays here. The only reason I would get a Blu-ray is because that's the only format it would either come in. So yeah, I got Onibaba in Blu-ray, but that's besides the point. This is an excellent film that I highly recommend. So for those who don't know, Onibaba is a film that takes place in medieval Japan during the Civil War. So we're following these 2 women, a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law, who, the way they obtain sustenance is that they kill samurai who wander into their lands, strip them of their armor, and then sell the armor for food, and that's basically how they live. Now, things take a turn when a neighbor comes back from the Civil War, the same neighbor that accompanied the son / husband, and informs him that the son is dead. And the neighbor and the daughter-in-law sort of have this sexual tension or desire for each other. And this kind of puts a wedge between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, because on one hand, the mother-in-law is worried that the neighbor will take away the daughter-in-law and she needs her for this, whole scheme of killing samurai and selling their armor to work. But also she has there's some sexual jealousy going on as well. And also there's this element, this paranormal element involved when a samurai wearing this Oni mask appears. So this is an excellent, excellent film. One that kind of shows how something disastrous and life-changing or horrific like war can drive people to the most basic primal urges, which is, lust and hunger. This is a beautifully shot film. This is black and white, but it's amazingly beautiful. I highly, highly recommend you check out Onibaba. This also happens to be one of my favorite covers in the Criterion collection. You see the Oni mask and then the reeds as well. The reeds play like a huge part in the film as well. So yeah, that's Onibaba. So those last two, I did not pick up this Criterion sale. They were ones that I picked up individually in past sales. However, the next two I did pick up at my Barnes & Noble. So the first one is Spine number 1155, and that is Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa from 1997, the year of my birth. So as far as I know, this is a psychological horror film. I believe we're following a detective who's on this case involving a bunch of, serial killings. However, they're all being committed by different people, and that's as far as I know. I've been very blessed that I haven't come across any spoilers about this film, which is good because I kind of want to go into this very blind. I've heard nothing but good things about Cure, and I'm looking forward to getting to it very soon. Next, we have Spine number 1152, and that is Lost Highway by David Lynch, which also came out in 1997. Now, the reason why I picked this one up, it's because I was on Instagram. I was looking through, the Criterion Collection's Instagram, and they posted a clip from Lost Highway. It was the one where this strange man is asking, I believe, the main protagonist if he remembers meeting him at his house. And I watched it, and I was so unnerved. Like it did get to me. So after seeing that one clip, I was like, I need to watch Lost Highway. I have to watch Lost Highway. As far as I know, it's like a what the hell type of film. As you might expect from David Lynch. Although the two David Lynches that I've watched, The Elephant Man and Blue Velvet, are pretty straightforward. But I've heard like Lost Highway is a mind trip. I know that Sam from film blogger Sam loves this film. He highly recommends it. So I'm also really looking forward to Lost Highway. This and Cure are highly anticipated films for me because I feel like they're right on my alley. These kind of deal with horror, which I really love. And the last film I have to show is Spine number 962, and that is Death in Venice. This is a film directed by Luchino Visconti, who's also done The Leopard, The Damned, which are also included in the Criterion Collection. And this film came out in 1971. Now, Death in Venice, I picked up after watching a video by Elliot Cohen. He was going through his entire Criterion Collection, and he came upon Death in Venice and kind of elaborated why it's pretty controversial. So for those who don't know, Death in Venice is adapted from a novella by an author, Thomas Mann. And we're following a composer who has gone to Venice for, I guess, a bit of vacation. He's there to recuperate, but he's also there, I guess, to find sort of inspiration and muse after a disastrous concert. Now, while he's there, he spots a young boy named Taju. His name is spelled Tadzio, but they call him Taju in the film. I did, in fact, see this. I watched it already. So he spots Taju, and he's sort of like fascinated by the boy's beauty. And the fascination turns into infatuation and basically an obsession because he ends up following the boy and his family around Venice. And while this is happening, there is a sort of like a plague that's also going on, but that the government is trying to keep under wraps, or keep it all hush. Now, from that premise, you can probably understand why this is controversial. I've heard people liken it to a male version of Lolita. Luckily, there's no line that's crossed at all, so good thing for that. I feel like there's two main interpretations that most people could take away from this film. On one hand, because we're dealing with a protagonist who is a composer, sort of like an aged composer who's kind of lost his muse. Taju can be sort of this embodiment of beauty, like this artistic beauty that an artist like Aschenbach is always trying to reach for. So that way his obsession with Taju can be more symbolic in that sense. But also you can, at face value, this is like an older gentleman who is stalking this boy and his family. So there's also just something outright nefarious about it. So it's definitely a film that allows for a range of interpretations. But yeah, I definitely need to rewatch this for sure. It's definitely a film that is quiet. It's, very show, rarely tells anything. There's rarely any dialogue, in fact. But which is interesting, like Dirk Bogarde, who plays Gustav von Aschenbach, I honestly feel like you get a lot more of his character. You kind of understand his character better when he's not speaking, where it's just the camera is focusing on his, his expressions and all of that. I don't know, this is just an interesting film that I would like to revisit for sure. And the thing is, I have to wonder, typically when it comes to adaptations, I like to read the book or the novella that it was based off of before watching the adaptation. Because sometimes things that happen in an adaptation may seem odd, or you don't know how it connects, but then you read the book and then you kind of see, oh, this is something from the book, and maybe it was better contextualized in the novel, and that way, because it doesn't have that same context, it seems out of place or disjointed in the film. So I would really love to read the book and then revisit this. This also happens to have one of my favorite covers out of the Criterion collection. I feel that this, along with like Onibaba, are covers that sort of encapsulate the overall themes of the story. So if you can tell, I'm sorry about the glare, but this is a marble bust of Taju, which is real. This isn't digital art. Someone made a bust and made it like this and took a photograph. So this is a marble bust of Taju, and obviously we associate these marble statues as sort of like, the peak of art, of beautiful art, majestic art. However, if you can tell from the photo, it's degraded, it's worn. And so it kind of hints on the idea that pure beauty will always be unattainable or always out of reach. Or the idea of pure beauty being manifested or epitomized in a human being will always be faulty in a sense, because it will always fade away, it will always degrade, and therefore will forever be out of the reach of human beings. So yeah, I guess that's the whole point. Gustav von Aschenbach sort of reaching out for something that he will inevitably never have. Whether you view, his obsession for Taju to be symbolic or not, it will forever, he will ever be out of reach. So yeah, that's my little spiel on Death in Venice. I definitely need to rewatch this. So yeah, that is my little collective Criterion haul. I'd be very interested to know what you managed to pick up during this 50% off sale, or just, tell me what titles you got. Tell me if you've watched any of these and how you felt about them. Would love to hear your thoughts. My next video will still be Criterion, but that one is my Criterion wish list, so watch out for that video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!